Hey, this is Scott from Capital Dish. Today we're going to be talking about gardening tips. Look at the color here. Now, we are going to go through this beautiful, beautiful landscape yard, and I have an expert with me. I just need to go find him, and he's going to tell us that these are tips that you can do in your own home. Come on, let's go find him. If there's one person that I know that can help us with all these gardening tips, it's Ralph Esposito. Their family's been in business over 35 years, and he is the expert, and I got to go find him. Ralph, there he is.
Good morning.
Hey.
How you doing?
Ralph Esposito. Good morning.
Good to see you.
Today we're talking about gardening tips, and these are, if you have the time and you have the effort, and maybe just a little bit of money, that this is probably one of the best yards. And I want you to give us a tour here and tell us actually, what you can do, because I know at Esposito's they do landscape design, but this is, that's on a grand scale. Tell me about, putting the plants in the right place with the shade, annual, perennial. So why don't we do a little tour? How to dress up an entrance. That would be the best thing.
This is one of the prettiest yards in Tallahassee, and the homeowner here does it virtually all herself. Her husband teases me and her about he doesn't really want to do anything. So she loves to garden, and you're going to see from this yard what gardening is all about.
First of all, why don't you tell us what an annual and a perennial is?
Okay, basically, an annual is something that has a one-year life cycle. You plant it in the spring, it'll live through the summer and die when it gets cold. Or you plant it in the fall and it dies when it gets hot. A perennial is something that you plant much like a woody shrub. You plant it in the ground, it's going to live for several years, sometimes a long time, and it doesn't bloom as profusely, but you get annual color year after year after year. So everywhere you look, she's got beautiful color. Stuff like this is going to come back. The secretia is going to come back, whereas the Dusty Miller, as soon as it gets real hot, will die. And she's blended them so perfectly. This comes back every year. The little things like these begonias provide really good color during the summer, but they're going to die when it gets cold. And she's done a fabulous job throughout the yard.
This is, I believe, one of the neatest things I've seen. Can you explain what she did here? Because that looks like it's a window covered by ivy.
What she's done is she's taken this creeping fig and she's allowed it to grow up, and she's taken it and replicated an architectural feature. You would think that there's a cutout in the brick wall, but all it is that creeping fig that's been trained. Creeping fig is easy, it's perennial, it will stay like this. If you get a really cold winter, it may turn brown, but it's going to come right back. Very low maintenance plant.
Ralph, what about these arbors? They look like they're, really professionally designed.
Well, they look like $1 million, and the great thing about them is you buy them in components. This is an 8-foot section that you just purchased, just like this. It's easy to install with a post hole digger, stick it in the ground, you're done. This arbor is a prefab.
I can do this myself?
Absolutely. You do this in an afternoon.
Oh, an afternoon Saturday project when I'm not in the kitchen. How perfect is that? Ralph, how easy is this to do? I really like this border, how it separates the yard into the gardening area. How do you do that?
Gosh, this is really simple. These are bricks that you buy individually. I don't want to pull one out because they've been here for a while. But what she's done is she's given herself a nice edge to trim against. She can use a herbicide here in case there's any grass that grows. And she's really defined the landscape area from the lawn areas.
Well, what really I think sets it off is that she's using all the gardening accents, like the special pots, the little statues. When you see them in the store and you see them all together, it really does, it's a nice display, but when you put them in a gardening environment, look at how beautiful that is.
Well, and the other thing she does is a pot like this could be, 10, 15 years old. She allows it to get the patina on it, and then she doesn't just plant a pot. She'll go through and put another statue or something in it.
That's a great idea. One thing I noticed is the real attention to detail. Now, in Esposito's, you have all the pots. Look what she's done here with these pots and these seashells. I know it can get costly, but as time goes on and you just keep adding and adding and adding, do you think I can do something like this?
I think that if you don't try to do the entire yard at one time, because I know that she works in a section and she'll say, well, this doesn't work, and she'll take like that plant and go move it someplace else. Don't bite off the whole yard. Work on a little. This section is probably 15 by 15. It's fabulous.
If I come into, say I have an area of my yard, which I have a large area that doesn't look like this, is there someone that helps me design what I want to do? That's probably the most important part is landscape design, don't you think?
Right. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you don't put the wrong material in the wrong spot. You don't put the plants too close together, and you group compatible plants. There are designers on staff. They're there 6 days a week, and they're there to help you landscape your yard, just like this.
Yeah, this is beautiful. All the way down to the colored stone detail, all the way to the arbors, to the benches. I mean, this has been a great treat. I want to tell you, you can do this, and you know, with the help of Ralph Esposito, I mean, I would never think that a yard would look like this here where I am. I mean, you brought us to a fabulous place. I mean, this is an award-winning yard. You should be very proud to be part of it.
Well, thank you. It is. It's always special when she comes out because she's always changing the yard.
Well, I want to thank you for bringing me here today. You know, this is another edition of Capital Dish. It's our gardening edition, and this is absolutely fabulous. And if you have any questions about this show, you need to stop by and talk to Ralph because he'll tell you about everything that we saw today. Thank you so much.
Good to see you.